Spice and Marriage Show, talk everything relationship and marriage, and I'm still your host, Regina Dokpesi. Today we are still talking about domestic violence that has become an epidemic in our society today. Last week we talked a lot about domestic violence, on the relevance and how we can put a stop. I know it's something that we can't really put a stop to, but we can control. Just like we talk about anger management, we can also control domestic violence if we come together as one to fight domestic violence. We have a wonderful guest today in the house that we're talking about this topic, and I know everybody would want to know who he is. You'll meet him after the break. We'll be right back. Right here in the studios, I have Mr. Orakwe Arinze. He's from NAPTIP. He's the Director of Public Enlightenment. Sir, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. This is Spice and Marriage Show, talk everything relationship and marriage. And we're happy to have you all the way from NAPTIP.
Thank you.
Visiting us today. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, our topic says today domestic violence. We've been talking about domestic violence and how we can control domestic violence. And I believe NAPTIP has done a lot when it comes to physical violence or any kind of violence. But we want to know so far, in the recent times, we've been experiencing a lot of domestic violence. What has NAPTIP done so far to see how to control domestic violence?
Thank you. First of all, we need to understand what is domestic violence.
Okay.
The domestic violence is anything, is a culmination of acts that violates the peace, sanctity, the aggregate harmony in a home, either between a man and wife, or man and his children, or father and daughter, and whatever.
Is it just about the family, or it's applicable to every
No, because that's why the word domestic is there.
Okay.
Domestic is there. So, NAPTIP over time, in 2015, the federal government actually enacted a law against Violence Against Persons Act, which is the VAP Act, and domiciled it with the agency to enforce in Abuja, in the FCT. And what the agency is doing now is to ask other states to also follow suit by domesticating those acts so that it can go beyond the FCT, so that we can actually have it enforced in other states. Because it's not limited, violence that we're speaking about is not limited to FCT. Husbands are killing wives in Akwa Ibom. The same thing in Anambra, in Lagos, in any state.
You're saying that it's everywhere. Yes, we know it's everywhere, but what has NAPTIP done in all of the states?
What NAPTIP has done is that NAPTIP is carrying out the campaign. We've carried out the campaign at least to the extent of where it is limited, where the laws can be enforced.
Okay.
NAPTIP will become a meddlesome interloper trying to think it can enforce those laws in states where it's not been adopted.
Like what states?
Any other states, no other states. Right now, I think it's only Lagos that has done that.
Okay.
Yes, Lagos has done it, and they have an office that actually makes sure that those things you can report it to those offices.
Okay, but right now, what are you people doing to say that other states will adopt the same
advocacy?
law?
We are carrying out advocacy. The Director General of NAPTIP, Dame Julia Kadonli, is asking the state House of Assemblies to also follow suit by enacting those similar laws that just like the federal government has done, just like the Child Rights Act. The same thing with the Child Rights Act. I hope you know that as I speak, that about the child right is just between about 24 number of states that have adopted same. So that is the same thing we're asking states to also adopt the Violence Against Persons Act, because these are every Nigerian is from one community in one local government in one state that makes him a Nigerian. And violence is not, these violence are not acted out by foreigners; they're also done by Nigerians. So asking them, let it be done. There are agencies of government and also international agencies that are helping NAPTIP, especially now we're doing a lot of IC materials. By that I mean posters and jingles, to make sure that people understand it. For example, do you know there are communities in FCT where it's been said, allegedly, that twins are still being killed as I speak?
I have not heard that.
No, it's there.
In FCT here?
I am telling you.
Are people doing anything about that?
That's part of what I'm saying, that, it's alleged. The practice is still on. I don't know how that is possible in 21st century.
Okay.
So what NAPTIP is doing now, where the owner of Abaji came to the agency sometime last month. I spoke with him today, the PA to the owner of Abaji. We are carrying out a sensitization campaign. We did one. We did in Abaji, in Boire, with the support of the senator, representing FCT. We went there. We're talking about illegal migration. We're talking about violence against persons. We're talking about human trafficking. So all these things put together.
Okay. Outside this, people are doing. We are always talking about, when we talk about domestic violence, a lot of people see it just like we are talking now, that is between the mother, father, home. Yes, we know that family is the building block of every society. But inside that's a family. There are children that are being abused. Because in recent times, I don't want to call it states, but I would say the northerners, the northern area, I think we have a lot of violence going on there. And I don't know whether you people are doing anything in the northern side, because we see a lot of abuses for children. What is NAPTIP doing for the children? Not just for the family, not just for the mother and the father that killing. Outside the killing, we also have the children suffering.
Are
in
victims of that violence. Yes. Children are victims of those violence because it tells on them. They adopt it as if this is the lifestyle, and that is the way to go about it. It becomes a culture to them. And that's a wicked kind of acculturation, and which is wrong.
Okay. So what is NAPTIP doing to stop that? What
NAPTIP is doing is that we can only carry out advocacy and those kind of campaigns. We can't enforce it because we need the states to adopt it.
Is there any punishment meant for this, for the violators?
How will you take it to court when you don't have the power so to do? We can only do that in FCT and Lagos, because Lagos has adopted sin. That is the law. There's nothing you can do. You can't do that. But then it also becomes the responsibility of the police, because that those laws are not there means that you go and kill somebody and you say it's because it's a white, or because you have you oversight, so that you have some level of oversight, either parental oversight too. That's why you've done what you've done. There's no excuse to homicide or to murder or to inflicting bodily injury. I could list out to you what the law says, what the law calls violence against persons. Either you abuse the person or whatever, you do all the kind of rubbish you do, you inflict violence, you damage phone. I don't know how many people now know that stalking is an offense. I don't know. Yeah, it's an offense now under the Violence Against Persons Act. I don't know whether you know that abusing of spouse or battering is an offense. I don't know, because people now believe, there are some men who still believe that they have the right to do this.
It still boils down to the same question I'm asking. You said stalking and all the others.
Damage of property.
Are all offenses. I'm asking, is there any punishment attached?
There's a punishment. The list is 2 years, 5 years. It is there. I can read it out to you. I can send it to you. It's all there. It's a law enacted by the National Assembly. So there's no way we won't have punishment. It has punishment.
Is there anything that you people talking about, telling people, okay, you people have a right to come and report? You have a reportorial ground where people can come and report?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. NAPTIP initially used to be one specific crime agency. Now it's two. So it's not only human trafficking or illegal migration. Now there's also Violence Against Persons Act. The only thing is that the Violence Against Persons is only limited to FCT and Lagos, where there is an agency of government set up by the Lagos State government to do that. So NAPTIP can only help them. Ordinarily, but for FCT, NAPTIP is enforcing it.
Okay, sir, let me just debate a little bit. Can you tell me why is it that men always instigate violence?
I think that is wrong.
Okay.
I'm not trying to make it sexist here.
Okay.
There are so many reasons that could trigger violence. Part of the things, I was speaking to some of my friends and I told them what parents need to start doing. There are failure of parental guidance. That's one.
Okay.
Okay, there are in a patriarchal and male-dominated society, you have men assuming, there are perspective to this, and assuming that it is their right to do all this kind of rubbish. But
I know you're married. I won't ask you
Yes,
if you're married. How long have you been married?
I've been married for 19 years.
For 19 years?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about your marriage.
Thank you.
After the break. Okay, welcome back. Before we went on break, we were talking about what NABTEC is doing to combat domestic violence. And Mr. Rinze has been hitting it so hard on the laws and what it takes to talk about domestic violence. And before we went on break, I'm now asking, are you married? How many? It's at 19. So let's find out what has been happening in his home. You're welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, like I said, you said you've been married for 19 years. How has it been so far?
It's been, it's not been easy, but it's okay. It's good. I'm happy with my marriage. And the good thing that happened with me is that I grew up in a family that I learned on time to begin to defend myself and to cook. So my mother taught me how to cook, and
you said defend yourself. When you say defend yourself, what do you mean?
Yeah, defend myself in the sense that I could go look out for what to eat. I can make my food. I could prepare my food. I know how to wash my clothes. I know how to iron my clothes. So I'm not expecting my wife to do all those things. You understand? Because these are the areas that bring friction and conflict. When
Really?
you think, yes, it did, because people are so presumptuous that it is the responsibility of your wife to cook because you don't know how to boil water, to make soup because you don't. I'm not making excuses for anybody,
Okay.
but I'm telling you that I know how to do all these things. So it's easy for me, and I don't think nobody made any promise that you must have somebody who will be a caterer for you.
Okay, sir. In all of this you just said now,
Yes.
why is it that men, what they cannot take
Yes.
from their wife, they
Yes.
take it outside from other people?
I can't answer that question because one, it all it requires that from day one, I think we should put your cards on the table, which why most people do not do. If you put your cards on the table, even while people are dating, the woman knows that this is what this man wants. If I can fit into it, I'll walk.
No,
if I can't fit into
no,
it,
sir. No, the question is, most men,
yes.
their wife might do something. I cannot take it. I don't want to do this. You don't have a right to talk to me like this.
Marriage is not something that
but
you snap a finger.
But somebody else
Yeah.
outside, an even smaller version of the wife,
Yes.
will say, why did you do this? I don't like that thing. And the man will smile. But the wife will play the same play with him. You will get so worked up.
Wife is a different business.
How is it
It's a
different business?
Yeah, it's a different business.
How is it?
Wife
Please
is a
explain.
different business. I will tell you why. Because the person you're talking about, if I use the street language, you're talking about a side chick.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and that's a side chick. That's not a wife.
Okay.
Wife is different business.
So
Different
why is,
ballgame.
I thought a wife is meant to be a friend.
Yes, it's your friend, but it's your wife. And wife in the sense that this is mine, I'm yours. The expectation where there are people watching you and I, and let's not set wrong standards.
What are the wrong standards?
The
For your
wrong-
wife to play with you,
No,
and
no,
you say you do
no,
not like
you
it,
didn't
and
say-
a smaller girl plays with you outside, you say you like it.
No, listen. The thing is that we are not talking about people not playing now. That's why I said ab initio, from day one, set right standard. Those standards, what you can accept and what you won't accept. You understand?
Sir,
So-
you're contradicting.
I'm not contradicting
because,
you.
yes, because the question is, why is it that what you cannot take
Yes.
from your wife, somebody else outside, your wife is meant to be your friend.
Yes,
Your
sir.
wife is meant to be your body, but your
Right.
wife is meant to play all manner of play with her. I
Yeah.
think on my own end, a side chick should tell you do something. He said no, stop it.
Yeah.
But your wife can play all the way with you.
Yeah.
But it's the other way around. Why is it like that?
I can't answer for other men.
No, okay now.
Yeah, I can only answer for myself. I play with my wife. I don't take offense because she's my wife. She's the only one who has the right to climb up my shoulder and do all sorts. But I won't even give my shoulder for anybody to climb outside in the first place. So why should that happen? So those who do that, I can tell you why they do that, and that's what I'm trying to explain.
What do you think of? Okay, I know we all know the causes, what brings about domestic violence and all that.
Yeah.
We will know 1 or 2 or 3. Okay, but in marriages, you've been there for 19
years.
good years.
Yes, yes.
What do you think in recent time have really caused domestic violence?
Fine. One,
In
people
homes?
do not know what they want before walking into the marriage. And people walk into the marriage with lots of baggages, lots of expectation. People do not have, especially men, have entitlement syndrome. Young boys these days have entitlement syndrome that you're going to marry a washerwoman, a cook, a caterer, everything all put in one, while you cross your leg and feel good and be a feel good boy. It never works like that, not in this world of now. It can't happen. And you sit back and cross your leg because you live in a world, in a modern society, a patriarchal society that where men rule. The woman doesn't have any choice to her career or to career progression or to live her life. Who told you that? The same things that prick you also affects the woman. The same thing that tickle you also affects the woman. So what makes it different if not for sex? Because it said and that by then you are going to gender. So the thing is that why I ask parents, these latter day parents, to begin to teach their children what to do. Let the children know, let the boy know that he has to wash his clothes, he has to iron his clothes, he has to learn how to.
The values.
Those are the values. Those are the values that
you're trying to say we should all go back to the values.
Yes, because that's what makes me what I am. That's why I've never raised my hand on my wife. Why should I do that? Because I never saw it happen in my own family. I never saw it happen. I had a father who knows how to cook and who cooked. So if I feel hungry, I'll cook. My father was a police officer, so he irons his clothes. Irons them, you can't even do it for them. He believes that you are never going to do it well. You understand? So those are the things, values I inherited growing up. So, and when I married my wife, we had this, I kind of found a way to make her understand, these are the things I like. Please help me achieve these things. And above all, the fact still remains that, who promised you? I've set rules in my house, and that is what I do. And if I feel like I want to eat yam porridge, I go get yam and make my porridge. And my children love it because they like to actually see me cook. Because the day I cook, I'll cook extra. Everything that will be
you
there.
know men, the day they will cook, they will spend plenty.
Yes,
but
yes.
the day they want to give their wife money,
we will make some reduction. Yes, that's the way it is.
Why is it like that?
It's like that because we need to save for the family.
But when you're cooking, you're not saving for the family.
No, because I need to make everybody feel good.
But when your wife also cooks, she won't make people feel good.
I don't know, but that's what men do. Men do.
All right. Sir, please, what can you say about phones in marriages today?
Lots of marriages are collapsing because the wife is busy on her phone chatting.
And husband
is busy on his phone chatting. People are not bonding together.
Sir, do you really know what they really talk about? What they're doing on inside their phone?
It's possible. I heard that many of the men are hooked on pornography, where they get their kicks on. Wives are there having their own strange relationship where they get their kicks on. And then what is suffering is the marriage itself that is suffering. So you now have different bears, different persons living together, just under the aura of that thing called marriage, but they are not even friends. Because if you are with your friends, I've gone to parties where people put a basket and said, drop your phones there, let us have a conversation about us. But these things are not happening anymore. We are there doing the chatting on your own, getting your kicks and having fun, and so how will you ever bond? How will you know what the man wants?
So invariably, men and women should stop pressing phones.
They should stop spending so much time. When you come into your house, please drop your. I am guilty. I'm not a saint.
Oh.
So don't assume. But I found out that it's a mistake that so many of us make, and it's wrong. So we should be able to put our phones away and have a common conversation about your family, about your children, and notice what they do. Check what your children. How many times do people actually look out for when was the last time your child did well in school, or the text, the homeworks and whatever? They leave it all to the woman. The woman finishes it and she's there chatting. That's when she has time to reply to all the Facebook messages, and the men are there on Twitter doing all their things and checking what's up. But those things, we now lose each other. We're not there for each other. And we teach that as the day go by, you're getting estranged. You get parting ways. You now become, please help me get this one, help me get this one. And you're not friends anymore. So at the slightest kind of infraction, either you get disturbed because you don't know the person anymore. You've never been friends with this person. But you're just living. Either you're living friend or living partner.
We've been talking about the values, how to bring back the values. What has NAPTIP so far? Where is your repertorial office? Where can people reach out to you people?
You can call the hotlines, the NAPTIP hotline, 070 30,000 203. A toll-free line, for you to report cases to NAPTIP. We have a rapid response squad. Any issue that has to do with abuse or battering or spouse or abandonment of spouse or rape or whatever, please report to NAPTIP. You shouldn't live under that kind of... It's your right not to live in an environment of exploitation and abuse.
NAPTIP and human rights,
yes.
What is the connection?
Yes, human rights is human rights. What NAPTIP does, NAPTIP is a law enforcement agency, a paramilitary agency dedicated to fighting human trafficking, violence against persons, child abuse.
Okay, what is your final take on about domestic violence for the viewers?
My take is this. You have no right to live in an environment of violence. If you see it, if you notice it, please, the next news might be your death. And do not cause it. Report to NAPTIP. Tell your neighbors. You have no right to assume that it will paper over or hide under the distance. Before you know it, your obituary will be announced. Now men are killing their wives are killing their husbands. And I think we owe it to yourself to let people know. Come to NAPTIP, you'll be counseled. There are counselors and there are officers who are there to make sure that at least we will salvage the situation, we will take you away from that environment, and you do not have a right to lose your life for anybody.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Arinze Orakwe from NAPTIP, the Director of Public Enlightenment. You really enlightened us today. Thank you so much. Thank you. But before we go, please, you need to look into the camera. I know there are times that, now you just said something that you're also guilty.
Yeah, sure.
Very, very guilty of pressing phone when you're supposed to be bonding with your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a routine here. You're going to say something to your wife. But on this note, you're going to say a very nice thing to your wife and also tell her, Mama, please, what do you call your wife?
Honey.
Honey.
Yeah.
You're going to tell Honey that you're sorry. And you're going to make a promise that you will not press phone when you come back. And Honey, please, if he presses phone, our numbers are scrolling on the screen, social media, everything. Mama, please send us a message. We'll get back to him.
Okay.
So.
Honey, I made some mistake, getting engrossed with my WhatsApp and Twitter. I do more of Twitter, but I promise you right now, going forward, I'm going to dedicate more of my time to you. I promise. I give my life. I do.
You didn't tell her you love her?
I do love her. I call her Honey. I can't call any other street person Honey. So she knows I love her with all my heart.
Oh, Honey, Daddy loves you. Thank you so much, Mr. Orakwe Arinze from NAPTIP, the Director Public Enlightenment. Thank you so much for coming on the program. All right, viewers, my wonderful and sumptuous viewers out there. I can't say thank you enough. Without you, I wouldn't be here. I want to say a very big thank you for staying at this hour and time. Always watching Spicy Marriage Show every Tuesday, 11 p.m. Thank you so much. You've heard all what he has said. You've heard all what people are coming to say about domestic violence. Violence, I will always say, it's not the best. Women, type low. Stop pressing phones. Phone is taking over to your husband. Men, your phone, Twitter is taking over husband. For God's special sake. You married someone to be a companion. You married someone to be with. You married someone to live with. Before you know, you don't know the person again. You're living your life. The person is living his life. What you know, your phone knows you. In fact, your phone does not even know you, but you know your phone more than yourself. Please and please. Families, like I would say, is a building block of every society. And a successful marriage will make a successful society. Everybody is complaining. I keep flogging this word. Everybody keeps saying Nigeria, Nigeria. Who is Nigeria? We are Nigeria. How are you governing your own home? How are you making things right? How are you putting your family together? Not to say Nigeria as a whole. Please, let's go back to the drawing board. Our values, we've lost it. Let's pick it back, dust it, and see how we can make ourselves better. Our children are suffering. They are the ones, they say when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. The children are suffering. Please, mothers, please, fathers, try to bond. The way you bond is teaching your children how to bond when they grow up. So please, I keep begging all of you out there, do the best you can to make life easy and simple. Violence is not the best. If you have any problem, there is NATIP, there is human rights, they have laws, they have people to talk to you. If you can't reach to them, call us, talk to us. We will reach out to them, we will show you the way if you cannot reach out to them. But Spice will say, whatever it takes in your relationship or marriage, you alone can fix it. If you have any question or any contribution on this topic, please feel free to send us a text on any of the numbers scrolling on your screen. I am Regina Dokpesi. Bye for now.